So you're confident your child is safe enough, their needs are met enough, you're united enough, they're cared for enough. The next provision is that there's enough boundaries. Boundaries are very important if growing up is the experience of rupture and repair, then boundaries are one of the ways of your child experiencing rupture. They're disappointed, they get told no, there's things you can do and things you can't do. And so boundaries are very important. How we put the boundaries in place, the strategies, again, remembering it, we want to be playful, not serious, accepting, not expecting, etc., etc. So we want to have a 3C approach where we're calm and caring and have a conversation about them. So getting to the boundaries, there's this idea, there's two main ideas when it comes to boundaries. The first one is my rules versus our rules. So there's a child and there's a parent, and this represents the family. So within a given family, there are rules. In most families, the rules come from the parent. They're my rules. The rules come from inside the parent. You choose what can and can't be done. You choose whether the TV goes on or not. You choose what food will be eaten. It's my rules. This is perfectly normal. I mean, this is how most families do it. The rules are inside of you. And if there's a broken rule and a cost needs to be implemented to try to prevent that from happening next time, well, the cost is generally what the parent says. They're my costs. This works really well in most families. But in families where there's that combative avoidance style, where breaking the rules leads to really strong emotions and really tricky behaviours, this doesn't always work that well. Because when the child breaks the rules, who are they breaking? They're breaking you. And when a cost is put on the child, so you feel attacked, and when you put the cost on the child, who does the child feel they're being attacked by? By you. So though it's perfectly normal for the rules and costs to come from inside of you, it can lead to combat. So this, of course, is perfectly normal. But deciding whether a rule has been broken, deciding whether a cost needs to be implemented, it becomes your problem. And you have to make a decision. And decision making is stressful. And it will feel very personal. It will feel like an attack. And in that case, more likely you're going to go reptile. Or they will go reptile. Escalating the very thing you're trying to change. So although this is normal for it to be my rules, so this idea of my, it might actually create more problems. In fact, for some kids, it's more important to be in combat with you than any possible cost you can make. I had one kid who, when his father said, "You've had enough time on the Xbox," the child picked up the Xbox. And when the dad said, "I'm going to take it away from you for a week if you don't get off it," the child picked up the Xbox and smashed it on the concrete. It was more important for him not to be dominated than any possible cost the father could have. Absurd, but the child was a reptile. He would not lose. He refused to be controlled. Ridiculous. But from a 3-part brain perspective, understandable. Now, the English worked out in the 13th century, this is not a great way of running groups. Because it used to be that within the kingdom, The rules and the costs were what the king said. The king's rules, and the king would punish you. So the subject would have to go, would never quite know what the rules and the costs were. Because what happens if the king changed? What happens if the king was drunk? What happens if the king had a headache and the queen did it and she had different rules and different costs? It leads to uncertainty. So the English worked out that it is better to not have the king's rules, but to have the rules, or the law. No longer was it what the king said. You weren't punished by the king, you were breaking the rules or the law. And it was written down for all to see. And when you were punished by the law. In fact, the king or the judge could be on your side and yet put in place the rules or the law. And when you broke the rules, you didn't break the king, you were breaking the law. And when you're punished, you're being punished by the law. If you think about judges in today's society, very few judges get hated. Very few judges get people against them because the person knows that although the judge is saying you need to go to jail or you need to pay that fine or whatever, people know it's not the judge's rules. He or she is just obeying the law. You do the crime, you do the time. It's just business. In fact, a judge can be on your side and can even possibly even cry, be upset for you about the fact that you're being punished, but the law must be obeyed. And this is the advantage of our rules. When it's not what the parent says, it's not what the king says, it's what we've agreed upon. We have agreed that this is how our family is going to be. All of a sudden, it's just business. It's not personal. It's their problem. If they break the rules, like don't take the bins out, well, and if the cost is the internet goes off for 24 hours, well, mate, I wanted you to have the internet, but you didn't take out the bins, so the internet goes off for 24 hours. At the moment, that's what the law is. You did that thing, so this is what happens. And it's just how it is. It's not personal. I want you to have the TV. I want you to have, I don't know, dessert. I want you to have whatever it is. But if you do the crime, you do the time. It's just business. My love for you is personal, but breaking rules is just business. It's not personal. Where you see it as your rules, you will take it personally when they break it. If we can externalize onto a piece of paper the rules, it's no longer personal. It's no longer your problem. You remain on their side, even while taking away or doing the thing that they dislike. So this is, in any boundaries, this is vital. Whatever boundaries you come up with, you want to remove yourself from it being personal, and you want to make it your business. In the next video, we'll talk about how to do this, because any smart kid, when you create this, will say, yeah, but you made the law. And so how do we make the law in a way where it is truly our rules? It is truly our family law.